Welcome back to the TKO show. Today I'm just going to be talking about the new AP poll, top 25 for college football. I'll just get right into that. The first nine, or the top nine, didn't change at all, so I'll just run through those really quick, talk about a few things. But 1 is Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 Ohio State, 4 Florida State, 5 Washington, 6 Oregon, 7 Texas, 8 Bama, and 9 Penn State. Just a couple of things in there. Alabama, I think they should have moved up at least a spot and dropped Texas down to 8, Bama move up to 7, because Bama beat LSU, who's 13th, and beat them 42-28, which I kind of expected because LSU has a terrible, terrible defense. And with Texas losing to Kansas State in overtime, winning against Kansas State, 33-30 in overtime, and the only reason they won that game is because Kansas State coach decided not to go for a last-second field goal on the 10-yard line, which I kind of understand a little bit, because your kicker missed from about 30 yards out beforehand, or a couple drives before. And I understand either you're not having confidence in your kicker, but the only reason why you shouldn't be sending your kicker out is if he's balled up in the fetal position or injured after missing a kick like that. That's definitely not a decision that I agree with, and it definitely lost Kansas State a huge upset. But still, I think that's not a great win for Texas. I do think that they should have dropped down 8 and Bama move up 1. Another game that I do feel like, or another team I do feel like should have moved up a spot is Washington. I think they should have slid into the top 4, have Florida State go up to 3, and Ohio State move down to 5. And I know, coming from an Ohio State fan, that may sound a little surprising, but Ohio State played horrible in that game. We were losing at the end of the first half, going into halftime. Why are we losing to Rutgers? It's Rutgers. They suck at football. They're not good at football at all. I will give them credit. They were able to shut down Marvin Harrison and not allow him to have a catch in the first half. So I will give Rutgers defense credit for that. They're stopping the best, in my opinion, the best receiver in the country. So give them props. But Ohio State still did pull out the win, 35-16. But still, with a performance like that, you should be dropping down to 5. Have Florida State moved up to 3 and Washington slide into 4. But that's all I have for the top 9. Moving on to number 10, moving up a spot after their win against Texas A&M, 38-35, is Ole Miss. Now, I didn't get to see any of this game, but I did hear it was a good one. And Ole Miss, I don't really know what happened in that game. Texas A&M is good against ranked opponents. They usually are, unless if you're Georgia. Then no. But Ole Miss, I don't think they should have moved up a spot. I think they should have just stayed at 11 after that. So they do play Georgia next week, so hopefully they can keep that win streak alive and knock off Georgia, because Georgia will definitely, or at least I hope Georgia will spill out of the top 4, go to 5, and then Michigan goes to 1, Ohio State to 2, Florida State 3, and Washington 4. Just have that be the top 4 and Georgia get knocked out. But I don't see that really happening. But actually, it will probably happen in the top 25, or in the AP poll at least. It definitely won't in the college football playoff rankings, which I will make a video on that when those come out this week. But yeah, moving on to number 12, moving up to number 11 moving up 4 spots after beating Virginia Tech 34-3 is Louisville. I don't understand why the next couple of teams are moving up so high, or moving up quite a bit after not beating great teams. I'm a little confused by that, but we'll see. Louisville, didn't get to watch this game. I heard it was a blowout, and the score kind of confirms that. Louisville has been so dominant this year. I do think we will see them in the top 10 by the end of the season, and they're oh so very close. They play Virginia next week, so yep. Moving on to 12, moving up 4 spots after beating Colorado 26-19. It's Oregon State. Another team moving up 4 spots. And I'm not saying Colorado isn't a good team. They're just not a great team. Yeah. But Oregon State, they're playing well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 10 in a couple weeks as well. They've been phenomenal. They definitely are one of the best teams in the nation. I think they could beat pretty much anyone 7 down. I don't think they'll beat Oregon, Washington, Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan, or Georgia, but they definitely have the ability to beat Texas and Alabama. I do think that they have the ability for that. Their offense has been amazing, so we'll see what happens with them against Stanford on Saturday. Moving on to 13, moving up 5 spots after blowing out Arizona State 55-3 is Utah. I really have not much to say on that, on Utah's win over Arizona State, other than I thought Arizona State was going to keep it a little closer because Arizona does have a tendency to, or it has this season at least, keep it close with some highly ranked teams. So, yeah. We'll see them against Washington on Saturday. That'll be a very, very entertaining game to watch. But yeah, moving on to 14, moving up 5 spots after their blowout of UConn, who I didn't even know had a D1 football team. They beat UConn 59-3. It's Tennessee. Not much to say on that one. They face Missouri on Saturday. Moving on to a team who was not ranked last week and is at number 15. How are you jumping from being not ranked to being ranked at 15th? I mean, I understand you beat the number 10 team in the nation in Oklahoma. You beat them 27-24. But still, yeah, you should be moved into the top 25, obviously. But you should be 20 or lower. 20 or between 20 and 25, basically. So, I don't really know how they're ranked so high, but they did beat Oklahoma, the number 10 team in the nation, last week. So, yeah. They play Oklahoma State plays UCF on Saturday. So, yeah. Next is number 16, moving down 2 spots after their crushing loss to Georgia, 30-21, is Missouri. I really thought Missouri was going to be able to beat Georgia. I truly did. I did say that they were going to hang in there. I wasn't wrong on that, but I was wrong that they have the ability to beat them. Actually, no, wait. In my predictions video, I said Georgia was going to win, but Missouri was going to beat them down, and they're going to lose one of their next 2 games. So I guess I was kind of right on that. But yeah, not really much to say on that other than Missouri played a great game. That whoever their quarterback is, I can't remember his name, but he is amazing. I did not expect. I've seen some games from Missouri, but not much. Their quarterback is actually really good, and just throwing passes straight into the breadbasket. Perfect throws. I mean, I think Missouri should be ranked higher, but they did lose, so they are 16th. But moving on to 17th, moving down 7 spots is Oklahoma after their loss to Oklahoma State. Talked about that in the Oklahoma State game. They play West Virginia on Saturday. And Missouri plays Tennessee on Saturday. Moving on to 18, moving down 5 spots after their loss to Alabama is LSU. Talked about that up at the Alabama game. They play Florida next week. Moving on to 19, moving up 3 spots after beating Iowa State 28-21 is Kansas. I like to see Kansas moving up. They've been playing pretty well. They've had a good couple of seasons, having a great season this year, being 7-2. Haven't gotten to see much of them. I might tune into that Texas Tech game if possible, because that's going to be definitely an entertaining game. Because I've seen one quarter from Texas Tech, and they're a pretty solid team. That was their game against, I believe it was against Oregon, that I saw that fourth quarter from them. They're not a terrible team from what I remember, but I don't know. I do have, I'll talk about that in the predictions video. But yeah, Kansas has been playing great. So yeah, moving on to 20, moving up a spot is Tulane. After beating Eastern Carolina 13-10, they play Tulsa next Saturday. So yeah, moving on to 21, moving up 2 spots, JMU, James Madison University, after their win over Georgia State. I like that they're up there. I do think that they should be higher since they are undefeated. Honestly, I think undefeated teams should have priority, but I understand why they don't. But yeah, some bad news for JMU is Jalen Green, one of their pass rushers, is going to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. And it's not saying what knee injury it is, but it says a significant knee injury, so that's probably a torn ACL or something similar. So yeah, devastating loss for JMU, but I think they'll still be able to recover from that. They play UConn on Saturday, so yeah. Okay, next is number 22, moving down 10 spots after losing to Clemson 31-23 is Notre Dame. And I just want to take a second to apologize to Clemson a little bit for disrespecting them all season. Yeah, that Duke loss kind of messed me up a little bit. They lost game 1 to Duke 21-7. Then lost to Florida State in a close game 31-24. And then beat the number 15 in the nation in Notre Dame. 12 in the nation, Notre Dame. I did not expect Notre Dame to lose that game at all. I didn't think that it was going to be close. Clemson came in and surprised me. So, yeah, I apologize for bashing Clemson. But, yeah, moving on to number 23 is Arizona. They were not ranked last week, so props to them for getting into being ranked. Number 20, they beat number 20 UCLA 27-10, and they play Colorado next week. So, yeah. Number 24 was not ranked last week, is North Carolina after beating Campbell 59-7, beating Duke. So, yeah. Or beating Campbell, sorry. They play Duke next Sunday. And then number 25 is Liberty, who was not ranked last week, who beat Louisiana Tech 56-30, and they play Old Dominion next week. So, yeah, that's all I have for you today. See you next time. Peace.